Right.
to be around so I can live. I feel like I'll live better
Right. No, that's
in a,
fair.
in a
Yeah.
more diverse world and a more like learning every day. Who doesn't want to learn from another person every
Right.
day? Like I don't get it.
Okay. So Jerome has said it's not Christianity was originated in Africa. Okay. Okay. Check out the Ethiopia Coptic Church. Now that I do know, and I am one of the black people that know that the indigenous Jews that are alive today are actually the ones that are in Ethiopia, not the ones that are in Israel currently. Those ones are more so from the European Jews that have, gone back to Israel. And that's why there's all this infraction. A prime example, I say this all the time. When God sent the angel to tell Joseph to leave Bethlehem and go to Egypt to keep Jesus safe until he became old enough, because Herod was killing all the children. What did he do? If he was such a pale skinned person, how the jail was he going to blend in Egypt?
Not Egypt.
I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. So, okay. So, prime example. The video shows 4 police officers. Now, what I'm very concerned about is that they've only prosecuted 1. But there were 4 police officers. One was standing to the back. That's the Asian one, mind you. And it has been put forward that his sister is married to the actual police officer that had his knee in George Floyd's neck. The Asian police officer, yes. His sister is married to the police officer that murdered the one of.
Oh, yeah, because she was Asian.
That's right. So what I looked at is the reason why he did not respond or do is because he kind of had a feeling of it, but he couldn't say no because that's his brother-in-law.
So?
No, but
I know you're not asking that like that, but.
Hey, Ferline. No, but do you see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, I feel that I'm hoping he still had a bit of what should we say, humanity.
There's no humanity.
That he would have said something, but again, maybe there was no humanity because he said nothing. And that also is quite disheartening.
I feel like if you was a police officer anywhere in that radius, even if your back was turned, you are guilty. You need to go to jail.
Right.
There's no way that should have happened. In front of you. There's no way.
Right.
As a police officer, that we look at police officers. When we grow up, we're looking at movies and stuff like that. We look at police officers like they wear capes, like they are
heroes.
They are heroes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna come and save the day.
Yeah.
The bad guy snatched the lady purse. The police officer is gonna save the day. We don't have an actual hero, so
right.
These are
the heroes that we.
Heroes.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a young black man. You've grown up. Now, you were born in what? North Carolina? I always get them mixed up. North Carolina. Because I know North, South.
Of the races.
I don't know. Carolina. No, North Carolina. And so Jerome would say police usually have each other's back. So they won't step offline to correct each other, especially if he's more senior. That is true. I have seen that, and that's quite disappointing because that means then, even though you know something is wrong, you will condone it. So in North Carolina, and you growing up as a teenager, you were allowed to drive from what, 15, 16?
Yeah.
15, yeah. All right. And so from there, when you went out, what's the first thing of street smart you were taught about when you go out on that road as a young black boy?
Honestly, growing up, I didn't encounter these racist acts that we see today. That's what's so funny. Like, it's like we're going back. Like, it seemed like back then, younger me would have seen more of that, and today would be where it's calming down. You see what I'm saying? But it's worse today than it was me growing up. So I didn't really hear conversations like, oh, as a black man, don't do that, don't do this.
Right.
Now it took to about Trayvon Martin story, which was I was about 15, 16 then. And that's when I started hearing more like, as a black man, my do's and don'ts.
Right. Okay.
Like, don't wear a hood. Don't wear a hoodie. And I actually think I heard that before Trayvon Martin. And I was looking at my mom like, this is silly. Why would I not wear my hood? That's what it's there for. And I kind of would argue with her. And then later on, you would see it. You would see why. And I'm like, wow, this is why she's telling me not to wear my hoodie as a black man, because I'm looking like I'm amongst one.
Right.
And I'm just wearing an article of clothing.
Right.
So.
Okay. So prime example for me. I went to school. I grew up in London, in the UK. When I went to school, my realist encounters was receiving a banana on my desk in the morning, or being called Jungle Bunny and monkey, and get into your tree, and here's a banana for you today. And that's the kind of stuff that I experienced. And I was so mad, I was so angry, and when I would go home and I would tell my mom, she'd be like, oh, where is wind? And I'm like, it's not wind, it's hot. It's making me feel I'm not okay. And then I would speak to my dad about it, and my dad would say, well, who are you? And my dad's very familiar, because he's a Ross, and you're a Ross, and this is important. You're a Ross, you're not like this. What you do is you prove to them that this Negro has a brain. So what I would do is then I started to become a straight A student. So anytime they would come in front of me, I would just say, what's your grade? And then they would be quiet, because now I'm the top of the class. But that still meant that for me to have some, not even notoriety or peace, I had to fight academically. I still had to prove my worth to be in that classroom. Half of them weren't getting straight A's, but they were okay. But I had to get straight A's, otherwise I wasn't of any value.
See, that sounds like you took the approach of beating them at their own game. Like, you're gonna pick. All right, I can pick too, with grades and what's more important.
Right. It's just like, okay, so have you been blessed then that you haven't been concerned of, like, especially when you've been driving, now you're in the A. Yeah. Were you worried?
It happened after I went to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I moved to Atlanta when I was about 15, 16. So.
Okay.
North Carolina things, a lot of things that happened, it would be like, to other people, I might have heard about it, or, it's a story out there about this and that. But
right.
Personally, nothing has really. In North Carolina, maybe a white kid maybe one time said the N-word, and all the black people jumped on him or whatever. Stuff like that had happened, but other than that, not nothing that stands out like big.
Okay, so Jerome, let me ask you. You've had you're an adult. You're I believe in Florida. Is that correct, Jerome? Have you experienced where you're concerned if you get stopped by the police, what they're gonna say? Have you experienced let me see. It says I don't know how to describe it, because I know that for me. Hey, Jerome. Right. So, for me, hold on. I think is this on low? Why is it on in-call volume?
He's in the
Are you
join live
in the headset? Yeah, but why is it? I don't know why it's done that.
Because it made his screen go down.
No. I'm talking about why I can't hear him.
That's probably my phone.
You see, you're making me feel I got technical issues and it's your fault. Hey, Jerome. You see, okay, so I was just putting out this question to you. You're in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you experience in Florida is a little bit different to those in the A, but which part of Florida are you in?
South Florida. I'm in like Fort Lauderdale area.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Oh yeah, we know Fort Lauderdale. Let's bring me some Miramar. Yeah. And right. So, okay. So here's the question: when you drive and you, for whatever reason, but of course you're a humble Christian man, so you do not speed for anyone to have to stop you. But say you did, do you feel concerned about the police officer that's about to stop you? So if you were gonna get pulled over, you know when you see them lights and they tell you to move up, do you feel concerned about, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen when this police officer stops me? Or are you still just very happy and bold in the Lord?
Well, I try to deal with them respectfully. I've never really had an issue with it, but they pull me over, I try to be respectful, be friendly, and things of that nature. So when they pull me over, I'm like, hey, kid, whatever, case, like some reason, that's fine. I said, okay, that's cool, whatever. Just trying to make casual conversation with them instead of being like angry or whatever the case may be, because that's not gonna solve anything. I mean, if I'm annoyed by them pulling me over, I don't necessarily say anything to them at that point in time. I just let them do what they need to do, and then say thank you, have a good night, whatever, and I go about my business. And then when I go on my business, and then if I have to vent about it, then I do that, but not necessarily at the same time when they pull me over.
Right. Okay. So you've been blessed then that you haven't had the experience then where I know I have a friend in Atlanta where he says he must be a cop magnet. Every single time he gets pulled over, and he was dressed for church and his car punctured, and one police officer came and said, hey, what's going on? He said, I've called AAA. He goes, okay, well, you need to move your car. But the car is broken down. I've called AAA. Then another police car came with two other officers, and they were like, you need to move your car. He said, I've just told you I've called AAA. And it started to create a problem. And AAA, praise God, and he was on the way to church, was coming up the highway, so that then they saw that AAA was here. And that's when they actually left the scene. But he said, if the Lord hadn't sent the angel of AAA, he already knew something was going to go down.
So let me say this, though. I want to say this. We're not against cops. We're against brutality.
Definitely.
So, Definitely. A lot of cops who are doing good things in the neighborhood or whatever, doing their business or whatever. And part of being a cop sometimes it's a difficult job. It's a job that you are always on the edge. You don't know what's what. You know what I mean? So it is a very difficult job to do. But at the same time, there needs to be sensitivity added, training and things of that nature. But I couldn't imagine being a cop, because you don't know, at every level, you don't know, the person you stop, you don't know if they're going to try to shoot you. I mean, they have cops have been murdered before.
Right.
So it's a very tense job to get to.
I mean, to be very honest with you, I have heard someone else say that they're a cop, and the frightening thing is they don't know when somebody, if they are aggressive and have a weapon towards them. So what happens is they announce themselves, they say, and then they wait for the person to say, hey, officer, I'm unarmed, or I do have a weapon, it's licensed, it's in the trunk, or, something like this. So don't get me wrong. I mean, when we were growing up, I think that we still do, because I'm an educator, and we've had, when I do careers day, I've had the police come round and they talk to them about the police force, and I'm proud of our police officers, and I'm proud of our black police officers, because that we need maybe more black police officers to help, balance out, so that there isn't this imbalance of negativity. But unfortunately still, and it's not all police officers. I've had, I will be honest, I was pulled over for speeding. Yeah, I was. Never again though. And that police officer, he was like, ma'am, do you know you were speeding? I was like, and he was like, where are you going? And could you imagine, actually, that was the day when my nephew was actually graduating from the army. That was a mess. So, and he actually was like, "Ma'am, you shouldn't be speeding. You've done this, do whatever, but I'm gonna have to issue you a ticket and blah blah blah." And all he did was his job. I was speeding. Do you see what I mean? I knew my speed. He asked me for my license. I gave him my license. He checked my registration. He did whatever. He issued me a ticket. He did his job. Do you see what I mean? There was no issue there.
Sometimes we get upset by them doing it. If you're wrong, you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry. If you're speeding and a cop pull you over and you shouldn't have an attitude towards a cop pulling you over for speeding.
If you've done wrong.
I mean, you can't. That's the thing about it. You cannot be wrong and right at the same time.
Right.
So, the thing I just wanted to make help us understand is that we're not against police. We're against police brutality.
That's correct.
That's the difference. We don't want people to go away and feel that we're against cops or whatever. Cops, they're needed, because the reality is that some neighborhoods
they need cops.
Oh yeah.
After the neighborhood, because some of these people are just they'll just shoot up any and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to there are good cops out there doing their job, but unfortunately they have a few bad apples.
Yeah.
And what happened is that when the good cop doesn't speak out against the bad cop, it makes everybody seem the same way. But what happens? You have this blue wall of silence, basically, what they call it, or something like that.
Yes, they do. That's it. The blue wall of silence. Yeah.
And so if you step out of line and call a senior cop out or whatever, somebody they'll look at you like this guy's a sucker or whatever, you're a punk or whatever the case may be. So most people don't come out of line, and just like us, think about it. I remember when the lady said that she didn't agree with homosexual marriage or whatever. She went about being a gay. He committed down on her, all right? And none of us, most Christians, we talk, but we never stood up and said anything about it.
Right.
So, you have this full on silence in Christianity too.
But this is why I was saying at the beginning, I sometimes feel that Christianity has actually, in a way, stopped many from speaking out about social justice. Not the fact that we don't think things are wrong or right and we don't agree, but sometimes we do take, I feel, to the extreme. Oh, Jesus said turn the other cheek. Do you see what I mean? And when I look at Jesus and how he was in the Bible, Jesus was a reformer. Jesus was a transformer. He was radical. It's not the norm to go into the temple and turn up tables. But he still used what I believe we should, as a people, their intellect and their voice. One of the things that I say is, if we've got more people in the judiciary, in the medical professionals, in the whatever, do you see what I mean? Then you have more of a voice. You've got people in places that can support the cause.
I don't disagree with you at all. But the thing about that, it's not that Christianity is weak. Christianity is actually the most powerful, call it religion, right? It is a religion. We're worshiping a God. Religion is basically worshiping a deity. That's what religion means. So Christian, even that word got a bad rap. Because guess what? It was Christianity who brought us out of the slave system.
That's true.
And helped us to be. So Christianity is not this. What it is that Christianity becomes so wishy-washy in America that people take any kind of foolishness and think that's Christianity, which is not.
Right.
Real Christianity stand up for wrong, right?
That's right.
And just that's real Christianity. I don't want people to go and think that think that we have to go find the power, we have to go do all these things with our fists. That's not Christianity.
No.
Yes, that sometimes is part of it, but we have to be careful of labeling Christianity as weak. Jesus was a conqueror. Jesus said, I came to bring sword. I came to bring the sword. A lot of times we this wishy-washy kind of Christianity, hands-off approach, don't do anything about it, and that's not real Christianity.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I feel sad that sometimes, you will see, even you'll have our churches and you'll hear someone's sons died somewhere else, or there was a gang shooting, and they'll be like, oh dear, that's terrible. Yes, we'll pray about it. But instead, what are we doing to, and I think I always relate to young people because that's who I work with. That's where my heart is. And I feel, it's what we empower our young people with that helps them to become the great adults of today, of tomorrow. And so, people don't realize one of the main reasons young people join gangs is because they want a family. The gang becomes their family. The gang becomes the support mechanism and offers them the security that sometimes they lack from within their own home. So there's always something deeper. And so that's where, when I was looking at the video and then they showed you the man at home and they showed you, and then some people said, no, it's a lie. Somebody's tried to Photoshop it. He didn't actually support Trump at this rally in Oklahoma, because there's so many things going around. And then, even with Trayvon Martin and all different things, you look at this and I'm like, how did that person get to that way of humanity?
You mean the cop?
Yeah. How could you, as a human being?
That cop was upset. He was upset with his home, his wife, I think he had issues all over the place.
Because how could you feel okay to exsanguinate a human being's life? Especially when you're not in fear of your life, if you see what I'm saying. It wasn't like they were being attacked and so now I had to kill.
Yeah.
This man was already
detained. How do you be detained? And anything happened to you while you detained? That's mad.
So that's my thoughts. Like, how does a human being get to that type of mindset? Like, what would make you become that man? But you know what? I don't want you to feel that this is only men. Remember 2 years ago, we had the case of the white police female that claimed she mistook her house and went into the apartment of the black guy watching his TV, eating his popcorn and ice cream, and killed him dead. That was 2 years. She got jailed, but that's a female. So I don't want it to just speak like it's sexist. Do you see what I mean? I'm still baffled on how the jail you could forget and mistake your apartment and go and kill somebody, but that's neither here nor there. I was mad at that one.
It's getting crazy. Like, the stories don't make sense anymore. None of them.
But it's kind of crazy. So it's not working. So so how do you feel now?
I want to share 2 stories.
Yeah, go for it.
I got one story that happened in the U.S. and I even got a story that happened here in the U.K. with policemen as well. So this is not just the U.S. This is all over the world. Right. Our black skin means something to everyone in the world, not just in America. It just carries something to every eye in the world, I feel like. So the first thing that happened to me in the States, I was about 18 at the time. Okay. I was at a clothing store, and we were locking up that night, probably 9 p.m. locking up. Right. And I walked and got on the bus, I believe, while everybody else drove. So when they drove away, I'm walking towards the bus, and these 2 police officers approached me. Okay. One black, one white. I ain't thinking of it, nothing of it at the time. I'm not doing nothing wrong. I just left work, so I didn't care. So I walked straight into them, and he's like, "Sir, where you walking to? Whatever. Like, where you coming from?" Like, I just left work, going home. He was like, do you mind if we check your bag? We've been hearing a lot of robberies around here. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I come here every day. This is like my block. Like, this is my bread and butter. Like, I come here every day. I have not heard nothing about that. And you know what? I really, really had to sit and think. In those 10 seconds, I had to think. And one part of me was like, wanting to say, hell no, dude, get back. Like, you're not checking my bag. Y'all better get out my face and all this. But I knew where that would lead to. I probably went home that night. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just said, you know what? There's nothing in my bag. It's probably, I don't even know why I got this bag. I literally have nothing in it. Like, it's probably a charger in my bag. So it almost seemed like, why do I even have this? So I said, go ahead, take it. Like, look at it. There's nothing in
there, right?
So for me to get home fast, for me to end the situation right then and there, that's why I said go ahead and look at it.
Right.
And as soon as he was done, seeing nothing, he just said, "All right, have a good night" or whatever, and went about our business.
Right.
But I don't feel like as a black man, we should always let them do those things, like look in my bag and all that.
Right.
If it's not right, it's not right.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I knew this is going to get me home fast. But so that is something that was crazy, and I was felt weird after that. But I went home peacefully. Now the other thing that happened here in the UK, which kind of don't make no sense, this is broad daylight, and this is just so racist. For me, this is just like 100% racist. This happened when I was visiting though. First came to visit, and I think you and Shari went walking.
Okay.
And I like was running, so I went past y'all.
Right.
And me visiting, I didn't know exactly where I'm running to. And I think to myself, like, I'm running kind of like far away from the house. I don't know where I'm going, and I need to turn around and go back. So instead of guessing where I'm going, I call Shari. And I'm on the phone. She's like, "Oh, just what do you see, babe?" And I'm like, "I see this building and all that." And she's like, trying to direct me basically. But I'm looking puzzled as anybody would.
Because you're lost.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking around. I'm trying to check this out, check that place out. And I see the cop car come by. He's looking at me, and then he goes away. Then I guess he does like a little circle, comes back to me and says, "Sir, you all right? Like, what's going on?" And I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. Like, I'm just trying to find my way back. Obviously, my voice is going to tell you I'm American right away. And he says, "Can I see the ID? I see that you're visiting here. When you going back?"
He asked a lot of questions.
All these crazy questions. I said, I have no idea when I'm going back. I don't have a return ticket, but I am going to go back. I probably did have a return ticket. I just told him that because tell him that. And so this conversation was going to get pretty heated because I felt really
agitated,
like tried, like you're really disrespecting me right now, asking me these questions. And so when I said I don't have an ID, he's looking at me weird, like why? I said, dude, I'm sweaty, I'm working out, I have these tight gym shorts on that has no pockets, so I don't bring my ID or my phone.
Right.
Well, I have my phone, but I don't bring ID and those things. I try to limit what I bring.
Yeah.
And so. Luckily, just like your story about the guy that was in Atlanta that seen an AA truck coming. Luckily, I'm seeing my wife come, and she's like, "Oh yes, this is my husband. We're working out right now. He left us, and we just went about our business." After she came, it was a done deal. It was like nothing to say now. Like I'm obviously proving what I just told you.
Right.
And it was just done. But I think these cops really felt like,
They're trying you.
They felt a certain way, like, wow, we just bothered this guy, wasted our time for nothing.
Well, is it? Or do they just want to do that?
They just want. Well, yeah, you're right. They don't have to.
You see what I mean?
They have time to waste, basically.
I mean, so now that you've encountered both countries, are you fearful when you see a police officer?
Pretty much. I ain't saying fearful like, oh God, let's not bother him. Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's just more like I'm alert. Like, I see this police officer, I'm alert, and just on my P's and Q's basically.
Okay, so a prime example. Do you know of anyone who has been arrested and has experienced police brutality?
Not like a personal friend or anything. Maybe a story from someone else that heard it from someone else, like kind of like that, but not a personal friend. Like,
okay. Well, that's good. I mean, the reason why I say that and I ask that question is because in today's society now, like prime example with COVID-19, I think we can all say we know one person that's been impacted by COVID-19. As a black man, the thought process is, why do our black lives matter? One, we're human beings. We should be respected as other human beings. Number two, We have done so much and far and beyond any other human beings to build up the societies that the West classes as the first world. I don't want anyone to not realize that the first world has been built off the backs of the black man. That's the first world. The other countries that are made, which are Russia, China, whatever, they're communists. They don't see themselves as first world. Alone have been built on the. So after these events that you've seen here now, what would you suggest that we, so that our lives can count?
Let's see. I do know that's the biggest thing about it. Like, it has to be something different, like a total. I think togetherness is the only thing, really. Togetherness, like when I say togetherness, I'm not the ordinary civilians like me and you, protesting on social media and stuff like that. It has to be literally everyone. Like, especially these entertainers. I think they getting under my skin the most because it's too many of them.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I feel like the entertainers themselves said, "Let me step back in about it." And so, if all of them are saying that, then that will turn into no one coming out.
I tell you who my peeve is in the world of media: Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
I just need Oprah. She's got this on point.
Powerful.
She was life I got to fight. So people going by. If Oprah says she now eats avocado, everybody eating avocado. Influence that is, as a black woman, is beyond reach. Mm-hmm. And in actual fact, I don't think I'm even going to want to do business with you all.
You know what though?
Because of how you're disrespecting me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what would make the difference.
What you said just makes so much sense about how they looking at it like, oh, it ain't my husband, it ain't my brother. That's how they really looking at it. Really looking at it like, oh, it cannot be my husband because you know why? My husband never in the streets, so it can never be him. So I'm not fearful.
We can't live like that.
That's exactly why they have not done nothing.
We cannot live our lives as it's not me.
Mm-hmm, it's not me.
We have to live our lives as that could be me. Mm-hmm. And that's what the video is. There's men in there that have, put out, it could have been me. It could have been my dad. It could have been my brother. It could have been my uncle. It could have been my son. It could have been my husband. So I don't like mess. So you're going to mash up the place and then I got to live with it. I don't think so. That's not for me. No. What I do, and which is where I'm really, really proud of the pastors that I watched debate and speak yesterday. It's about our black power. It's about our money, people. The financials that we have. We are the one set of people. We need to spend our money in black businesses. We need to support our own. We need to build our own. We need to have our own black banks. We need to have our own insurance, investment, loans, buying property, everything. Once we start to do that, and they start to see the shifting of financial economics from their pocket, they'll start to have some respect, because no other nation is as defranchised as us. The Asian community, sure that's right, Lisa. They're looking out for each other. Like this, I know that if you're Asian and you come and you bought a house in this community, you know what? I want to move into the community. No problem. Come and live with us. There'll be 10 people living in a house, in a 3-bed house. But guess what? Taking the money outside. And when they work in other areas, like if they work in government, in local authority, whatever, they have positioned themselves there so that they can then help their people. Mm-hmm. So that's 1.5. Do you see what I mean? So they're about building their people. Why are we not doing that? Why can't I see you doing well and be proud of you as a black man?
Yeah, I don't know why that either. That's a good question too. I think it's always been a fight. Like I have to be. It's hard to be. I don't know. I'm gonna say this for going back in time, not today, but like going back in time when society was first moving and things like that. I feel like competition now. Yeah, even this go back from slavery.
Yeah, because Lisa's saying that that the problem we have is we're always fighting each other. Yeah. We're jealous of each other.
Gotta beat you to the spot.
You know, trying to beat, instead of us saying, "Oh my gosh, you got a great house," and then I say, "Hey, you want a great house? Here, this is how I did it."
You know what it is? I have to beat you to the spot because they're not gonna let both of us go.
Black person. And I can't let you come on top because there's not enough space. That means the racism that is there is saying that we will only have one Negro. We letting one in. Like I've heard that. Oh, those black people. Oh, but you're not like that. Oh, I have a black friend. Does that?
Even if you do, you still can be racist. That's
and
one person.
Right. And even if you do, you can still be racist. Are you encouraging you? That's one less Negro. Then I know who you are, and I can say this is where you stand. But when you say nothing, that's how I feel. That's more dangerous. You know,
they won't leave him alone,
right?
And give him his ticket and then go about his day because he's not one of those.
Okay.
But everybody cannot come correct to an officer, and I know my brother is one of those that's like, the F you put me over for? He's like that.
Okay.
So
he already creating problems for himself.
For him do what he needs to do for me and then get on.
Right.
And I know how to also keep him there. And I think that's just, you know, just talking to, which I'm also not condoning being Uncle Tom either.
No.
I'm not saying, officer, yes, what you said, dude, like lay on the ground, all right, officer. I ain't saying that either. That's beyond anything I would do.
That's too funny.
Because we have those out there, and that's another thing that ain't helping us.
That is true.
That ain't helping us. You have to say what is wrong. You cannot say, oh yeah, I think that's wrong, but I ain't gonna say it.
Right. So Lisa says they want us to be submissive and just do as they say.
Right, exactly.
Do you think that's the way that is what they want?
I do think that. Like I said, I had officers that approached me and they might have approached me in the right way, so I maybe got a little bit submissive and said, yeah, this guy's cool, like he's all right. So I'm listening to him. He has my respect.
Right.
And that's a different story.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad that we've had this talk today. You know, got people give viewpoints, and as you heard Jerome, thank you so much, Jerome. I mean, you got cut off there, and then we couldn't bring you back because you left us. No, I'm kidding.
Jerome was drunk.
But and hey, Rodney, how? And actually, I can even ask you the question: are you fearful as a black man? You know, you're out there. You have 2 daughters, but are you fearful that if you get stopped or pulled over, that your life is in danger? Or are you confident in the Lord that you're covered by Jesus and He got you? Do you know what I mean? How do you feel? You know, this is tough. And hey, Kashawn, even for you, how do you feel? You know, you this tall.
That ain't even just white officers. That ain't being racist, but that is white period. I see it.
So you feel that
officers.
So so in other words, it's a fear of
the black man.
Of the black man that why this is with us. Because I have to say, I have seen for myself, cops are called and it's a black man. You might get 2 cops called out for a white man who's a bit drunk, but when
we are still a threat.
Wow. Okay. So Rodney, you got you swag now. So you got stopped in your younger days. Woohoo! But now you maturer. You don't but now it doesn't happen. So that's a blessing. That is a blessing. Because one of the things that I would think is, because you're a father and you have daughters, as a question that's here, what do you tell your daughter about? What do you tell your daughters? It's like, how would you feel if the police stopped you and they questioned you with your child? Because you can't guarantee that police officer is one that is sensible, fair-minded. He could be one that's foolish. How would you handle that?
And not add fire to the flame, I guess.
Right. Okay.
That's just the best way I look at that, and that's not even just with a police officer. That's with anybody, the average Joe.
Tased down last month at the gas station with his, and he's not running away, and you tase him to the ground. And he says the same. He said, "I would just try to be civil. Some cops can be asked stupid questions that can rile you up." Yeah, that's true.
I think they do that on purpose too. I really do. Like, why are you asking me a question you can answer?
That's true. I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, they do want to press your buttons. They want to, get a response out of you. And I have to say too, having worked in the league, I've gone to the jails, I've been to the police stations, and even for me as a black woman, when I first, they wouldn't deal with me. They wouldn't respect me. They wouldn't entertain me, and I didn't know what to do. And it wasn't allowing me to get my case done, and I couldn't get to see the prisoner because they just wouldn't even acknowledge me when they station. And it was only after being supported by a white DA I had to stand up one day in the courthouse and say, "This is Miss Ross. She works for blah, 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 blah. And anything that she needs, you need to make sure that she gets it." He got a lifeline. He said, "But if you want to work in this profession, you're going to have to toughen up." And he said, "That's your one tip. And it's not even charging you for that." And he helped me out. And from that's
major help.
I had to command that respect. Yeah. I had to learn that I'm not fearful from you. You have my stuff. I would like it. I need access to it. These are the rules. Yeah. What is that? You can request to know why you have been stopped. You have a right. So with the praise of George Floyd, they said he wrote a bounce check. Your check didn't, go through or whatever. And even if you wrote a few bounce checks, it's a civil matter. So, yeah, so Rodney said it's your car. You already know whose car it is because you already got the details from the DVLA. You're asking me a question you actually already want to know, but you know the risk. Yeah. You're right, Rodney. You're right. And they need 4 cops. Yes, Lisa. Everything is exaggerated with us. I'm sorry. Before we go, Amy, I forgot her last name. The one, and then they showed you about 6 white women who called the police on you. Remember, it was the gentleman who was doing the watching in the park.
Oh, you talking about the lady that had the dog?
Yes, she had the dog.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she wanted to, and she called the police on him because he told her, again, the law of the park is that you should have your dog on the lead. And he said to her, "Can you put the dog on the lead?" And she had a problem with that. So she said she's going to call the police. And she lied about a black man was trying to attack her. And this is another issue. She knew she was a white female. Black man is attacking you. They're going to come. And they're going to come
and she knew
to kill.
That. She knew it and to she the point knew that I'm going to go all the way with this.
Right. That is one of the things I have an issue with. So, again, you are your white privilege. Disgusting. Correctly, disgusting is out of order. So, I'm glad we've had this chat today. And we're going to carry it on next week because we want to see if, remember, with George Floyd, 4 police officers were there. 3 police officers were on his body. Only 1 has been arrested. And with regards to Amy, yes, she did get fired. What was the sweetest thing? Forgive me, Father. The animal welfare came and took the dog. Because she was strangling the dog. You know what? I was concerned for the little animal. Yeah. When you saw her twist up, I was like, that's the reason why. But no, people, I'm just saying to you, let's not damage our own property, our homes, the shop. We're already dying for this virus. Racism is a virus. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be real right. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, any chance that we can get to be solidarity, to come together, to be strategic, to be tactical, so they can then make sure we put in office, we vote, and we make sure that, don't let me start on Trumpy, don't let me start on him, right? But you have to remember that your local elections is really what has the impact. Those are the ones that have the say for where you live. Don't destroy your homes, but get tactical. Buy from your own. Black businesses, black accountants, doctors, dentists, anybody that you can do, the hairdresser. If the supermarket is a bit different, but if you see a black checkout operator, go to the black checkout operator. Give her that. Do you see what I mean? Like you can, Publix, you need to eat. Do you see what I'm saying? So we don't have big black supermarkets. But I'm saying if you go to those, Publix, Kroger, whatever, if you see the black checkout operator, go to the black checkout. Support her. When you go into buying clothes, when they let us go and buy clothes, if you see a black sales assistant, go to the black sales assistant. Do to us. We'll be there, and the Asian's going to see you and see the Asian person. Oh, I'm going over there. So let's just try and be more. Next week, we're going to carry on. We're going to have some parents that are fearful of what's going to happen to their sons. So sadly, I don't know why I touched this, because now I can't get it to keep still. But at the end of the day, people, I want to keep up. Go to Congress. Go to City Hall. Go to the Town Hall. Go to your MP. Make a difference with your voice. Speak, guys. We look forward to next week. And you all have an amazing week and stay blessed. Bye. Oh. And so some people come. I don't know.
That's a good session, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we have quite a few. I have quite a few people that will come in and that's why I like to have it in one place. Yeah. Because then they want to be asking questions and doing.
No, I think that works.